So during last week's YouTube live stream, I made some predictions that I thought would shape up the Minnesota Vikings playoff scenario. Number one, I thought that the Chicago Bears would pull off the upset at Lambeau Field against the Green Bay Packers. That did not happen, okay? And albeit with a phantom kick-catch interference call that should not have gotten called but did. If not for that call, would have been a turnover, fumble recovery by Cordero Patterson, but it is what it is. Also, I thought that the LA Rams would waltz out of AT&T Stadium with a win against the Dallas Cowboys. So on that front, I'm 0 for 2. However, third time's the charm because I also predicted that the Minnesota Vikings would beat the LA Chargers by 2 touchdowns. They not only covered that spread, they ended up beating them by 4 touchdowns. And during the preview last week, that's such a bold take, Randy, because my final score prediction was 31-17. That's such a bold take, Randy. You can't overlook this Chargers team. This is going to be a really, really tough matchup. What you scared for, man? And listen, the logic behind the thought process behind my prediction for the Vikings-Chargers game was one man, one player. That is Phillip Rivers. Folks, listen, when it comes to football, the number one thing that I know best is the Minnesota Vikings. Number 2 is Phillip Rivers. Listen, nothing to take away from Phillip Rivers because he's arguably the most underrated quarterback in this generation. I would say he's super talented, but he's also turnover prone. So I would say he's more like a more talented Eli Manning, so to speak. But right now, this year, he has fallen way off the face of the earth in terms of his talent level. He's erratic. He looks lost half the time. He forces his passes. He throws ducks up for grabs. And what do you know? Yesterday on Sunday, Phillip Rivers, he throws for 3 interceptions. All in all, the Minnesota Vikings defense, they forced a total of 7 turnovers yesterday, one of which brings us to the double R play of the game.
On 2nd and 2, Rivers under pressure, lost the ball. It's on the ground and picked up by the Vikings. Down the sideline to the end zone. Ifeadi Odenigbo for the touchdown.
So Danielle Hunter, despite getting an extra chip block by Austin Eckler, still somehow manages to bull rush his man over, force the fumble on Phillip Rivers. It's a chase to the football. Ifeadi Odenigbo picks the ball up, races towards the end zone, and Hunter still has the energy to run with Ifeadi Odenigbo to provide a last-second block on the Chargers' number 76. It was so pathetic to watch. The dude went down so pathetically that you have to rewind it and watch it at least 3 more times. That was the double R play of the game because that was the difference between the Chargers going up 13-12. Instead, you go up 19-10. So that was the double R play of the game. And staying on defense, the Vikings' run defense was absolutely stout. They held the running attack of the Chargers to 62 total yards. They also forced 3 fumbles on the Chargers' running backs, 2 of which were lost, both by Melvin Gordon. And going back to Danielle Hunter real quick, he's already shaping up to be an all-time great, but I feel like no one knows about him. Or at the very least, no one talks about this man. It's ridiculous. Overall, I give credit, gotta give credit where credit is due. I gotta give credit to Mike Zimmer for having, for the most part, a lights-out defense. I'm still very concerned about our cornerbacks because Phillip Rivers, that's one thing. He forces his passes. He's going to throw interceptions up for grabs. Let's see how this cornerback rotation does against the Green Bay Packers next week. Now going to the offense. Adam Thielen, he was on a pitch count yesterday. No surprise there. If you had him in your fantasy lineup, my condolences to you. We'll see if he's able to take more of a full-time load these last 2 weeks of the season. Then we get to Dalvin Cook, who got hurt again. That is a problem because I do think the Vikings can win games without Dalvin Cook. I don't think they can win a championship without Dalvin Cook, at least the way this offense is constructed, because Dalvin Cook, he's the focal point of this offense. He takes the pressure off of Kirk Cousins. Without Dalvin Cook, that shifts the pressure more and more on Kirk Cousins, and that's just not the type of quarterback. It's just not in his game to say, we're going to put the weight of the world on Kirk Cousins' shoulders. And no disrespect to Mike Boone, because he was great out there yesterday. I'm a Mike Boone fan. Mike Boone, along with Eric Wilson, are probably the 2 most underrated players on this Vikings roster, but the talent of Dalvin Cook, I just think it's just too much to lose. I like the zone blocking scheme. I like the overall Gary Kubiak, Kevin Stefanski scheme for this offense. And we saw it yesterday. The play action, there were so many times where Kirk Cousins on play, and he wasn't great yesterday, Kirk Cousins, but he was okay. But there were so many times yesterday against the Chargers where on play action, faked it to the running back, and just nothing but time. Sit back, and then he would make the pass to his receiver. It's crazy, but without Dalvin Cook, I just think it's too much to ask for with Kirk Cousins. So anyway, we'll see how it goes. You're 10-4. That's some good stuff right there. I don't know how this works now because I believe the Chicago Bears are eliminated, and I think the Rams are eliminated as well. I'm not sure. We'll see. We'll see how that works. You're basically a lock to make the playoffs at this point. We do this 3 times a week. Mediocre at Best Sports Podcast with Realistic Randy. Oh, actually, one more thing. Normally, I do this 3 times a week. There's a chance that it may not come out this Wednesday. So I normally do it Mondays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays are the preview for the upcoming game. However, on Wednesday, there's a chance there might not be a podcast because I'm officially on baby watch, damn it. That's right. My wife and I, we are getting ready to welcome our second child. So right now, we'll see if it comes out. I didn't even know if I'd be able to do this podcast today, but damn it, I was able to make it work. So we'll see how it works out. I'll keep you guys updated. But anyway, we normally do this 3 times a week. Mediocre Best Sports Podcast with Realistic Randy. Check me out on Twitter at realistic_Randy, Facebook at Realistic Randy. We'll see you later.